Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another Access 72 video. And in today's video, I'm back with another interview, and I'm here with Brad Pauls. Brad, how are we?
All good, man. Thanks for having me.
It is a pleasure, mate. Thank you very much for coming on. And
cheers, mate. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Let's do it.
Yes, great. Okay, and so am I right in saying you're a 29-year-old middleweight who's 16-0?
Correct. Yeah,
Great.
Spot on, mate. You got the facts right. Spot on.
Nice. All right. Okay. Well, if you are new around here and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do need like the video, and let's get straight into it. So, we're going to go back all the way to the very start. I always like to do this in my interviews, and so we're going to start off with why did you start boxing?
Good question. I was a bit of a troubled kid, to be honest. I was always in detention, and like the typical boxer story, really.
Right.
Like, just since early as I can remember, just like fighting, like combat. I used to like Bruce Lee movies, fighting at school. And then when I was 10 years old, Nuki opened a boxing club. And as soon as they opened it, I was first one there, buzzing about it. And that was in 2003. Was you born then?
No.
That's mad. That's mad. Yeah, no, yeah, and that's how I started. Yeah, and one of those stories. As soon as I started, I was just fully in love and never had a season off, never had a year out. Just loved it.
Great. Sorry to make you feel old, mate.
It's all right, mate. It's all right.
All right. And so, do you remember what happened in your first amateur fight?
I think it's 2003 or 2000. Wait. 2004 boxing Bodmin, and I won on points. And yeah, I was just fully addicted to that feeling. Smashed him about, to be honest. But I didn't have much technique when I started. I was just a bit of a windmill brawling sort of. I don't think much has changed, to be honest. But yeah, I fully enjoyed it, mate. It's good.
Great, and kind of started as you wished to go on. And so, what was your kind of biggest achievement from the amateur period?
Amateurs, when I boxed in Cornwall, I was very limited and there wasn't much opportunity. I won most of my fights until I was 18, and then I went to university, and then I went on a winning streak. So I trained in a better gym. I trained with national champions and stuff. I went on a 12-fight winning streak, and I just needed the opportunity. I didn't have it in Cornwall. So when I got this opportunity, and I was in Golden Ring Boxing Club in Southampton, and I got CYPs, they call it, or the NABCs. They changed the name, but it's basically like best in the country for your age. And I went in that, won that, was my first national title, and then went into the ABAs after that, elite ABAs. First time in it, and I got to the semis, and I lost on a split to a guy called Luke Saunders, who was he's quality for my stand. But yeah. So that was pretty good. I won a gold medal for my uni. I won a Southern Area belt, and they brought it in and then defended it. And then I'd 56 fights, won 44, I think. Yeah, a few stoppages in there, but it was all right. It was all right. Yeah, I did my best.
Yes, definitely, and it seems like it went quite well for you, mate. And so, what kind of differences would you say there are between the amateur and the pro game?
Mate, it's so different. I used to love amateur, man. You turn up and they go, it'll be Wednesday, and they go, you fighting Saturday, and you go sound, and then you have a fight. Don't talk about it. You just go and have a fight, and that's it. And it was just less stress. The fighting's the best bit, and that's all you used to do as an amateur. And you didn't care who you fight anyone. I remember when I was moving up from, it used to be 71 kilos, 75, and my amateur coach didn't want me to move up. And he was like, all right, you're boxing Felix Cash on Monday. I was like, all right, sound, because they wanted to match me hard, because they didn't want me to move up. I was like, all right, sound. And it gets to Monday, and he was like, it's not actually Felix Cash, I was just joking, but you're boxing this guy called Bryce Goodridge.
Right.
And if you Google him, he's the tallest ever middleweight in amateur history. He's 6'5" or something, check his box rec. But because he didn't want me to be a middleweight, so he matched me the biggest middleweight the whole country had. I ended up winning anyway, but that changed his mind. But yeah, that's what I like about amateurs. Then the pros. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there.
No, that's all right.
But then the pros is more like, it's not just pro boxing. It's like all of a sudden you're a businessman. Like you've got to know how to market yourself and promote yourself and figure out how to sell tickets. You've got to be good at social media and good at marketing and meeting people, making them like you and stuff like this. And it's not just boxing. There's so much more. But then on the other hand, like when you get in the ring and you have them tiny little 10-ounce gloves, and it's a little bit more brutal, and then obviously the longer rounds, so there's more time to hurt someone. So yeah, I do like the pros. I do like the fighting aspect of the pros a lot more.
Definitely. Okay, that's great. And so, why did you end up turning professional when you did?
I finished my time at uni. I think I was 22, and yeah, I wanted to move away from where my uni was, and it just seemed like the right time. I didn't want to be amateur for too long. I wasn't getting on the GB squad or nothing like that. And yeah, I thought I was more suited to the pros. So yeah, I moved up to Essex from Southampton, where I knew the boxing, especially pro boxing, was a good place, like here.
Yeah.
So when I moved here, and it's worked out quite well. Like, you have Peacock Gym just down the road, you have the Matchroom Gym 20 minutes down the road, and you have the access to this sort of sparring. And I knew that before I moved here. It was a sort of a good place for it. So yeah, just anything to better myself, sort of thing.
Definitely. And so you were kind of moving along your professional career. You were the Southern Area champion. How big of an achievement was that?
Yeah, it was massive. It's good memories, man. Feels like a long time ago. But yeah, I think I was the first Cornishman in, it's either like 100 years or 70 years or something like that. But it was massive for me, because it's something that no one can really take it away from you. It's something that you'd achieved, and it'll be in the history books forever. It's not a world title, and I know that, and it's not a British title, but it was a good test for myself and a good accolade to have. And defending it as well, which my defence was probably a tougher opponent than actually winning it. But yeah, it was massive for me, and then history for my county. So yeah, good.
Definitely. Okay, and so you've had the 16 professional fights, and so far you are still unbeaten. But which one would you say you've performed your best in?
Good question. It's gonna have to be against Robbie Chapman when I defended it. Loved that fight. It was at home in Plymouth, near home. Packed out, sold out. And then Robbie was, at the time, I think he was either like 7-1 or 8-1 or something like that. So he wasn't a journeyman or anything like that at that time. He was a prospect like myself. And I think I lost the first couple of rounds. He was a good mover, he's a good boxer. And then I slowly wore him down and got to him in the 7th. And have you seen the knockout?
No.
It was a good one. He was out. It was good, yeah. So that was probably one of my best ones. It was a bit of a highlight. Funny one, 'cause all my best knockouts come off of TV.
Right.
As soon as I step on TV, I have a really hard fight. But yeah, that was one of my better knockouts.
I'll have to see if there's a clip of it out there.
Yeah, it's good. You like it?
Great. And so you've been fighting. I mean, you said in the prior rants you've been fighting since 2003. So for about, is that 19 years now, if I've done the maths right for that? And so what would you say kind of keeps you motivated?
Good question again. I just feel like I've probably got another 4 or 5 years left in me, and I just want to look back and know that I did all I possibly could to achieve what I was meant to achieve. You know what I mean? And I know that each time I win a fight or win a title or something like this, it's setting an example for people from Cornwall. Like when I was coming up, there was no pros from Cornwall. There's no one to look up to. No one had done anything. And now with me, and I've just started to make my way a little bit, it makes it probably a bit easier for the next generation from Cornwall. They go, oh, well, Brad did it this way, he won this title, it can be done, sort of thing. And that's a massive motivation. And I love it, mate. Like, I just love it. Short answer.
Great. And so this is kind of going off that last answer, but do you ever get people just kind of messaging you saying how much you kind of have motivated them?
Yeah, it's mad. And it's really like weird to receive their messages, because you don't sort of think of yourself in that sort of way, but then when someone does message you and they like took some sort of inspiration, there's some sort of positive impacts you've had, it is a wild feeling. And where, like, in Cornwall, how do I say this, like, not many people go on to do these sort of things. It's not that sort of not that sort of place. The population isn't massive. It's not a big built-up city that has loads of footballers and this and that. So if someone goes and does something, people support it really well, like they have done with me. So when the young lads coming up and they're boxing, they message me and say, "You've inspired me," sort of thing. It's mad feeling, but it's, there you go, more motivation.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, indeed it is. And so what would you kind of say to your fans as a whole that supported you from the beginning to now, or even just more recently? How happy are you that you've got this fan base?
Yeah, massively. Like my first 15 fights was on small hall, so that's, like relying on ticket sales.
Yeah.
And I would not have made it anywhere without the people that have bought tickets to come to my fights. People that I get so many people share my posts and like my posts and comment, and all these things add up to support what I'm doing, and it means the world to me, because if they didn't support the way they did, I would not be doing it. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have the sponsors that I have. The sponsors I have are really, really good. I'm very, very lucky. And yeah, keep supporting. I think the best is yet to come, and I want to reward the people who have supported me with bigger accolades. I mean, I'd love the English and I'd love the British title. So, forever grateful.
Mm-hmm. Great. And so for anybody who's watching this and might not have seen you fight before, what would you say kind of makes you interesting as a fighter?
Good question again. What makes me interesting as a fighter? I'm not really like a counter-punching, slippery, negative sort of fighter. I tend to come forwards. I think I've got quite good punch power. I've got underrated boxing ability and footwork, definitely. But I wouldn't imagine my fights, so I haven't heard my fights are boring. I tend to have a bit of a tear-up sometimes, and my coach kicks off and that. But that's how it goes sometimes. But you would never see me give up, and you'll always get my 100%. So that's what I can promise.
Mm-hmm. That's the most important thing, giving 100% to every fight.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. Great. And so, when do you think? Well, if you can say, when will you be back fighting again?
So it's a mandatory for the English, and it's purse bids on the 12th of December. So currently Tyler Denny's the champion. Whether he vacates or stays, but I don't know. But either way, my fight will be for the English against him or someone else. And decided 12th of December. So I'm guessing it'll be like March next year or something. And it's also a final eliminator for the British, right. Which is a lot to gain in one fight. And Tyler Denny would be a brilliant person to beat right now. He's on a bit of a roll, and he's took a few good records. And I think it'll be on Sky. I'll be boxing on Sky from here going forward, sort of like winner stays on sort of thing. So, motivated. Got a lot to gain in my next fight. It's looking good.
It is indeed, and we've had Tyler on the channel. He is a great guy, and so I mean, other than just like him in the middleweight kind of thing, the middleweight as a whole is a stacked division. Is there any kind of fighters in that division other than Tyler that you see that maybe you'd like a fight with? Maybe not just now, but maybe a little bit further along down the line.
Yeah, it's not really my style to call people out or anything like that. I have no beef with anyone, anything like this. It's not really how I roll. But I think there's, like you said, busy division. You got Brad Ray in there. I think he showed a really good account of himself, even though he lost to Denny. Nathan Heaney, I'm not sure what he's up to, but that's a good potential fight down the line. Definitely worthy of a title. And then the list goes on, doesn't it? You got Hamza Shiraz. Linus, obviously, I can't fight him. He's my gym mate, but options. It's a busy division. You could do. I said the other day, you could do a Super Six. With all the middleweights, but hopefully one day next year, more than likely.
Great. And so, I mean, you kind of touched on this a little bit, but how far do you believe you can go in your career?
I think I can definitely win a British title, and to be honest, I'm not fussed about much else. I just want the British title. I think we'll learn a lot in my next fight. And obviously, you have to prove yourself at English, and that'll tell you everything you need to know. But I think I'm definitely able to win a British. That's my dream bout, and that's what I want to do, to be honest.
Great. Okay. Well, I'll leave it with this final question, which I always like to ask. You've got a little bit of a platform here. Would you like to shout anything out?
Shout out everyone who supports. Shout out you, Axel, you're legends. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, shout out all my sponsors. Check me out on social media. I'll shout them out properly soon. And shout out to all the boxing fans. Best sport in the world.
It is indeed. Okay, and so thank you very much for doing this interview, mate.
Top man, Axel. Really appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
And maybe a little bit further along down the line, we can come back and do a return interview.
Yeah, hopefully with a belt like this, right? Yeah.
That would be great, mate. That would be great. Okay, mate. Well, thank you very much again, and like the video if you do need like the video, subscribe if you're new, and thanks.